100.9 FM, or you can reach us online at 1009WXIR.com, Rochester's Urban Alternative Station.
You can also call in at 585-219-8889.
Please call in. I want to see what the callers have to say. Please call in. And for my peoples that follow me on social media, please go into our IG page. That's love.n.situationships. We are also on Snapchat, and please add to the Snapchat, because I'm about to start putting some things on there. I want to take y'all suggestions from every social media, because sometimes some people be picky about the one they use. Especially y'all people in relationships that don't use Facebook. I understand that.
Taking shots early.
I'm just saying, hey, it's some of all of us.
Don't judge her on her submission.
That wasn't a judgment. Now y'all just being, now I'm about to say that's just insecurity getting personal. I ain't even say who it was. I was just talking about people in general. You know what I mean? But more importantly, let's jump right into it. One of the situations that there's a lot of different situationships and different things that we come across and topics that we want to pick up on. But one specifically, we chose to go in a different direction at the last minute, only because it did touch a little close to home. I would like to speak on how mental health affects and affects relationships. I think that it's something that's overlooked a lot, because what we realize is that in relationships, dominantly there's a role, or there's some type of gender role. And then we all got to the age now where we're trying to break gender norms and regular traditions. And then what we realize is that in that effect, the same thing that we was conversing about earlier, about how sometimes men forget their role in a relationship, not necessarily their role, but their significance. They don't feel as important anymore. They don't feel that they have the same type of leadership, or they're trying to lead a relationship, and they're not getting the same reciprocation out of it. And I just want to touch on this topic and hear from the women's side, chime in. But I will give, stories and scenarios as we go into it. So, E'Tiana, first off, how would you want to tackle this, or what are some of your thoughts about this topic?
Mental health, I think, for one thing, in our community, it's like taboo. So a lot of people, they don't get what they need. They don't get the help they need. They don't look for resources in the community that will help them. So they just let things go, and they just let it go. And then things can build up, issues can build up, situations can build up. And then they can take it out on their partner, or they can take it out on their families. And when dealing with situations like that, I mean, that'll definitely run somebody away, or it can be problematic, and a reason why, our relationships have issues, because we don't go to therapy for the problems that we have.
Don't acknowledge the problems that you have. Like,
sometimes we don't even acknowledge that we have a problem.
Right. Some people don't see the wrong in what they do or whatever. Like, the littlest things push them over the edge, and it's like,
yeah, my mama did it, her mama did it, everybody in my family did it, so it's okay for me to do it. That type of mentality.
Yeah, and I think it's even deeper than generational curses, as much as every situation is sensitive and every situation is different. I remember we was conversing last week, and we were just briefly discussing how in relationships, I was basically brought to the point that some men lost their significance, or they don't understand their significance in a relationship. We are breeding these strong, beautiful women to be so independent and to be, not relying on anyone to get what they need or what they want. So now in a situation where a man comes around, and even if it's the regular man, not a man that, that's getting
what's a regular man?
What I mean by, a man that got regular parts. He has gender parts. What I mean by regular man, let's not say regular. I mean the 9-to-5 working man. You know what I mean? Not anything extra extravagant. He's God fearing. He's human. He's down to earth. He's cool, but he's not the attention seeker. He's not the person that has the flashy things, or the person that is working towards those things, and probably have that woman on board. But in the same breath, as hard as he's working, he's feeling just as much stress from that relationship. So in particular, he's
feeling stress as a result of.
No, he's going to stress in a result of not feeling significant, or not feeling up to
her standards.
Not even up to her standards. Sometimes, like, you just want to feel appreciated. And I feel like nowadays, sometimes you'll be in a relationship and you don't even feel appreciated. And some things either is considered normal or it's considered like your duty to do certain things.
So if you're not feeling appreciated in a relationship, do you think you should speak up about that, or you think
people lack communication?
Right. I think that's the biggest
failure
issue
in relationships is that they lack communication.
Right, because somebody can go months and months feeling unappreciated, not saying anything just because they don't want to rock the boat. But I know for me, sometimes I can be confrontational when.
Sometimes. You coming problematic with that. But I know, but I understand what you're saying. But okay, so let me dig a little deeper. I made an analogy earlier. God bless, of someone very close to me passed away, and in one of our last deep conversations with this individual, I was talking to him. We was going back and forth. We was vibing, and I made the analogy, and this is one of the biggest things I stand by. At the end of the day, when I go to war, I come back to the tribe and I put down my sword and I put down my spear, and all I want is my queen to rub my back and say it's all right. Now let's talk literal terms of that. It's like, yo, I'm dealing with parking tickets, police officers, right, traffic, But does your woman know you're dealing with that though? Exactly. She may, but in the same breath, some people feel like she may know I'm dealing with it, but she don't know how it affects me.
Your issue, like that's not her.
Right. Or it's going to be okay. It's not going to be okay. You don't know how I deal with my stress. And then as men, we don't naturally have the outlet that some women have, that most women have. So how when a man is going through something, when a man is going through something, depending on the situation, he knows who he can talk to. More than likely, if you went to church and you're going through something that's love related or something, you can only really talk to your pastor. Your boy's going to look at you crazy. Unless you got a boy that's married and he can relate and you're married, you know what I'm saying? Whatever the case may be. But normally, if it's just everyday trials and tribulations, your woman probably look at you like it's going to be okay. And it's like, well, that isn't how I'm dealing with it. I know it might be okay eventually, but it's not going to be okay now. And in the same breath, when women are dealing with something, even if it's in a relationship, it can be a problem with the person that she's dating or what she's going through. She has more female friends that are going to support her. Oh, girl, I understand. And some of them might be dead wrong. Oh, let's go get them. You know what I'm saying? Whatever the case may be, whatever you got to, what type of friends you have. But men don't really have that same type of support. And in the same breath, due to the stigma behind it, they're not even willing to face counseling.
Right. So that's where men need to begin to hold themselves accountable. Like, we know the issue. So what's the resolution? How do we solve it? How do we begin to move forward? By having conversations like this will definitely help people recognize, one, there's an issue. Two, like, who do I have to talk to? And three, should I get help at this point?
Now, here's the thing about that. I'm a very big advocate for mental health, as far as it pertains to the African-American community, as well as everyone, but more specifically African-American community, because I feel like we have a lot more that we endure on a daily basis. But even generalizing that, more so men. Like I said, I don't feel like a lot of men, have that outlet. But here's the other thing about it. Even just like you
men are
touched
too
on two things. No, not even that.
Oh, yes, they can be.
Yes, they
can be. And we know this. They don't want to go to the doctor.
They don't want to look weak. Like, that makes them look weak.
If I go to my home,
that's true. That's the stigma.
I'm weak. I'm weak if I go.
No, that's true. That's true. I've heard so many men. They just think that counseling is something for women. They don't want to.
I don't got no problem. You the one with the problem,
right?
All right, now watch this. Then you just said counseling, but then you just say communication. So if I feel like in my relationship, you my counselor, why can't I come to you and tell you I don't feel appreciated?
Who said you couldn't?
Who said right?
But I just said that. But again, when you tell me you don't feel appreciated, do I need a ninja scroll list of why you don't feel appreciated, or are you saying
I don't feel appreciated because
you need a mass text message?
Right. You should definitely say why.
So watch this. Isn't that a personal feeling?
But you still should communicate it to your partner.
I just asked a question. Isn't that a personal feeling?
Yeah, it's very personal.
And now in the same breath, if you're the only person that can make you happy, then you're also the only person that can come out of your depression, right?
Yes, happiness is definitely an inside job. However, you should communicate to your partner how you're feeling so you can work through it together.
and not all the times that it's reciprocated or not, or it's not reciprocated, it's not received correctly. No matter how hard you try to be effective in it, it is not received correctly.
Trust me, I know this all too well. I deal with situations where, especially around the wintertime, where, you know, I'm not feeling it. Like, I just feel like I'm in a fog. And sometimes people don't think depression is real, or they be like, get over it. Yeah. And I got people in my family who deal with it, and sometimes it's hard for me to receive some of the things that they're going through as well. So I know I'm on both sides of the spectrum. I know. Also,
nobody wants to listen to nobody, basically.
Yeah, we're all in a situation where we all think we know it all. So, y'all want to listen to some music?
I say we want some callers. Please call in. Also, go to the page at least.
219-8889.